Hey, didn't see you there. This is my 2002 Mazda MX-5 Miata, and it is my NB2 Miata, I guess. I just think it's funny because like Doug DeMuro is like one of my biggest, favoriteest YouTubers car related. So I feel like it was just funny to like try to do that intro, but with a stance car, because he's notorious for like not wanting to review modified cars. So I think it's kind of funny.
This is a 1993 Mazda Miata. This is a 2014 Mazda MX-5 Miata. This is a 2019 Mazda MX-5 Miata.
Alright, so I'm actually editing the video right now, and I just realized that Doug has never made an NB review. He's done the NA, the NC, and the ND, as you guys just saw, but never the NB, which is unfortunate, but I guess it makes sense because all Miatas are roughly the same. But for those of you that don't know, Doug has been making car reviews for like the last 10 years, and before that, he like wrote blogs and stuff, so love his content. He's a personal favorite of mine, and hence the whole beginning of this video. But yeah, let's get back into it.
What's going on, guys? You guys know me as R3VKY on Instagram, but my name is actually Ricky. Who would have guessed? I'm 23 years old, and this is my 2002 Mazda MX-5 Miata, or NB2. It is the second generation of 4 generations of Miata. Real quick, let's see if I even get this right. There's NA, the pop-up headlights that everybody loves. NB, which this is the second gen. NB2, there's the NB1 and then NB2 of the second gen. And then you got the NC and the ND Miata. Those are the 4 gens.
All right, so real quick, I forgot to mention this, which is kind of important, but these are the Facebook Marketplace photos of when I bought the car a little over 2 years ago. So you guys have some reference, but I love these photos just to compare them to like where my car's at now. It definitely was an impulse purchase, but with that being said, it was a good purchase. The car's been absolutely amazing. It is salvage title, crashed 2, maybe 3 times. I don't even know. I'm like the 10th owner, but the car's been absolutely amazing. It's taken me all over Southern California, almost 40,000 miles, and I honestly couldn't be more grateful. So I just can't believe I forgot to mention kind of one of those important parts, but let's get into the video.
All right, so starting off with the least interesting part, at least in my opinion, that is the engine bay. Mainly because I have done nothing to it other than the aftermarket radiator, motor mounts. I guess that's it. I guess the steering rack I did raise when I cracked it. That's a story for probably another video. But yeah, I mean, this is the OEM clean bone stock NB2 engine bay. The difference between the NB1 and NB2 is the VVTi, which is variable valve timing, which is this right here. And this is a 1.8 liter, not the 1.6 liter. So it's a little bit faster. And the VVTi gives you like, I want to say like 5 more horsepower, something like that. I have no idea, but it's like VTEC on a Honda, if you've ever driven in a Honda. It gives you that extra like, Mishimoto radiator that came with the car. And the motor mounts that I do want to point out are from AWR. They're a local company here in Southern California, which I couldn't recommend more. So if you guys are looking for motor mounts for your Miata, highly recommend those. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I do want to like clean it up more and chrome the valve cover and do some other knickknacks. But for now, you know, I've never really cared too much about engine modifications. I don't have the money for it, nor do I really care. For me, it's more like aesthetics, and just as long as the car's reliable, that's really what I care about. Alrighty, so next up, let's talk about styling. As far as like the body kit that I have, I guess we could talk about the roof wing and everything styling wise you would have. I really wanted to go like OEM plus on this car and just make it look as like factory as possible, I guess you could say. So for the side skirts and the mud guards, they are the Tupperware OEM from Mazda, made out of polyurethane. I bought them off a buddy. They just stick to the car, you bolt them into the bottom. And the front lip, on the other hand, everybody thinks it's a Tupperware kit, and it is like a slightly just modified version of that. I could not find for the life of me the Tupperware kit when I was putting this kit together. And I came across this, which is a US Sports racing lip from Rev 9. So it's the exact same. The only difference is it doesn't have like little vents at the bottom that the Tupperware one has, which honestly I kind of love because it's a little bit different and like more minimal. The only thing is that it's fiberglass, and you'll see, I ate a bag on the freeway the other night, which I'm really upset about because it doesn't sit very low, like it doesn't hit anything. I just didn't see the bag and, you know, smacked it head on. So I'll get that replaced, it is what it is. But the rest of the car is OEM. The hardtop is an NA6 hardtop. I love pointing that out. That is one of the original hardtops they came out with, so it doesn't have like the defrosters in the back. And then the roof wing is a carbon Miata fiberglass roof wing that's just taped on. The mirrors are stock. I know I've gotten some questions about people asking about that. They're just stock NB2 mirrors. That's pretty much it. I guess you could talk about the reflectors. I replaced, these are LED, like it's an LED strip from eBay that are clear, and then the rears are just the stock red ones, and I really like that. It's super like minimal, but clear with clear, and then the red with red. I thought that was super cool. But as far as styling goes, there isn't too much like options for these cars. You'd be surprised, because I feel like they made millions of Miatas, and like everybody modifies them, but there's like not that many options. But nevertheless, super OEM Plus setup I couldn't be happier with. Alrighty, so next up we're gonna talk about stance, probably my favorite thing when it comes to this whole car scene and modifications of vehicles. I just love stance, especially drift stance. That's what I guess you would call this, and that's when you have more front camber. Camber is like the tilt of the wheels, if you didn't know, and minimal rear. It's supposed to be for when you're drifting, when you turn and you're drifting with camber, it flattens the wheels out to give you more traction. But in this case, no, I don't drift this, maybe one day. This is my only car right now, so I can't, you know, slide into a wall as much as I would want to. But yeah, it's just more the aggressive lowered look that I don't know why I'm obsessed with. It's probably terrible that I'm obsessed with this, but nevertheless, I love it. Car drive's amazing. So for wheels, these are Adavan TC4s in 15 inches, 8 wide, plus 35 offset. And they're wrapped in Accelera 175/50/15 tires. The tires, I couldn't recommend more. They're super cheap. They're not directional, so you can flip them. And as you can see right here, I just flipped them. So this is literally the camber wear of like how much the tire hits the floor, which I think is hilarious. But like I said, the car drives, like you'd be surprised how like smooth it drives. The wheels were originally like gunmetal gray, and I wanted them chrome to really go with the aesthetic. So I got them triple chromed by Chamorro Boy 86. Huge shout out to you, Chamorro Boy. And then as far as the lug nuts, these are Part Shop Max lug nuts. Are a local company here in Southern California that specializes in like drifting parts. I just wanted a lug nut that had like a special key, and just, you know, to give it an extra little pizzazz. I am running 2-inch bolt-on spacers all around to give me the fitment that I have. And I'm gonna make a whole nother video on spacers because I know that's like a super touchy subject, but I've done almost 38,000 miles, how you see the car with the spacers, and I've drifted it. I've done donuts and stuff with the spacers. I've never had an issue. So just to clear things up, spacers are fine if you do them right. And obviously they're not ideal, but when you have to do them, like they only make these wheels in 8 wide. So I really don't have another option. No, I'm not gonna get other wheels. I love these wheels. These are my dream wheels, and I couldn't be happier with them. But then as far as suspension and arms and all that, the rear is completely stock other than the coilovers. I'm running BC extreme low coilovers on the stock spring rates, whatever they are, I think 12 and 8, I'm not too sure. That's the rear's just lowered with the coilover. No, all the arms are stock, and that's -4 natural camber. The front is where it all gets a little bit interesting, but it's still pretty straightforward. I'm running Destroyer die, upper and lower control arms. That gives me the adjustability that I wanted and needed, along with their extended brake lines. And then I'm running Flying Miata extended lower ball joints, which if any of you Miata guys are trying to get camber and you don't want to spend like $2+ grand trying to get all these arms, just get those lower ball joints. They're 60-ish bucks, and they give you up to -6 camber. But after that, I'm running SPL extended tie rod ends. Because of the camber, I have to get all the extended and stuff to really allow the car to be able to still turn and not have any issues. So with all that replaced, it was way too much money, literally just to tilt my wheels and make the car less functional, but it looks sick. I absolutely love it. And like I said, it drives amazing. And one more thing about the stance, which is super funny. I'm gonna whip out my drone real quick and get an aerial shot of the car so you guys can see how it looks with the stance and the camber. I think it's super funny and something you don't really see every day or might ever see. So check that out. I think it's super funny. So let's talk about paint. It is the most recent thing I've done to the car. It's been about 2 months since I've got it painted. First of all, huge shout out to Ruben Gonzalez up in Whittier, California, who was the man who painted this car. And honestly, I could not be happier with it. I just told him what I wanted. We talked about it for a bit, and you know, a month later, boom, she was sparkly. So it is a metallic silver. Don't know what paint coat it is. I wanted to do OEM originally, but he showed me this paint that was like shinier and stuff, and we went along and went with that. And then on top of that, in the clear coat, it has chrome Moon Eyes hot rod glitter. So there's a ton of glitter. I'm gonna try to get some shots so you guys can really see it in the sunlight. It looks insane. And honestly, I just couldn't be happier. I wanted something like low key, but also still flashy while going with silver, just because I love the way these cars look in silver. And I just couldn't be happier. I think the way it came along with the chrome accents and the chrome glitter in the paint, and it came out perfect. I could not be happier. I don't think this would look good on like any car. I really do think it's special because it is a Miata, and it does have like the chrome wheels and the chrome accents. A lot of people don't even will come up to the car in person, like seeing it on Instagram or seeing it online, and then come up to it in person and be like, oh shit, look at the paint. Well, I think that's really special, and once like I said, I couldn't be happier. All right, so moving on to the rear end of this beauty right here. We got the ISR bolt-on exhaust. I have no idea what the name is. I bought it off my buddy, but it just bolts right in. It sounds freaking sick, and it does what exhausts do. Vroom, vroom, vroom. And then I guess since we're here, this license plate, you know, honestly is one of my highlights of the car. Bruh, I don't know, because I don't know. I absolutely love the car. I've had people drive behind me and post me on Facebook, Instagram, and just, it always gets a laugh out of people, and honestly, I couldn't be happier with it. And then I guess it's wrapped in a chrome Miata plate frame. Since I debadged it and I took the keyhole out that was here, this was something I really wanted to do because I hadn't seen somebody do that, and the keyhole never worked to begin with. So when I got this new bumper and I was, you know, fixing it up for paint, I was like, you know what, let's, you know, delete the keyhole. So it took off the Mazda badge, the Mazda logo here, deleted the keyhole, and I just love how like minimalistic and simple it is. And it just says Miata, because that's what it is. So super happy with that. These are never content plate bolts. Let me show you guys what this exhaust sounds like. All right, so let's talk about the trunk setup. So I think it's super important when you're driving a stance car or a lowered car, any modified car for that matter, or any car for that matter actually, to have basic tools, a jack, which most cars come with that scissor jack, which is stupid, I hate it. But just having the peace of mind of having this equipment on hand at any time, I just absolutely love. So this is a Harbor Freight low profile jack. It's super light, it works like any other jack. I couldn't recommend it more. The tool bag I have in there just has pretty much any basic tool I could need. And then as far as the spare, which, you know, is the coolest thing here, I love the idea of popping out with a chrome actual spare. This car comes with a like bicycle tire spare. In fact, it's probably skinnier than a bicycle tire, which is kind of hilarious, but I took that out, threw this in here. I bought a pair of these on Facebook Marketplace and then got them chromed. They are the exact same spare as my Advans, so it's super cool because I can just throw them on whenever I need to. I just love that peace of mind. Also, this is a little air pump that you plug into the cigarette lighter so you can pump the tires up whenever you need to. And I guess the only sketchy setup with this, on this car specifically, is the battery is here. So if anything, you know, pops on that, it'll like explode, which has already happened. But I have it strapped down, like none of this is gonna move. Like I've done donuts and stuff with this, and this setup, the way I have it, I honestly could not be happier. It's just super nice to have that peace of mind. Alrighty, so now let's talk about the interior on this car. I absolutely love the minimalistic and just sheer design of the Miata interior, especially the MB2. I think it has everything that you need for a car. For example, power windows, we got cruise control, we got fog lights. Let's talk about everything I've done to the car. Starting with the most obvious thing are these fake Bride Brid Lomax seats. I don't know how you say it, Bride or Brid. Let me know in the comments. Yeah, I found these on Facebook Marketplace, and I wanted black ones originally, but found these, and I was like, oh, cool, look, all my interior lighting is blue, so why not get blue seats? And it's worked out beautifully, I think. They're a little scuffed up and stuff, but you know, they're very comfortable. They are 32 waist for my itty bitty waist, but I absolutely love them. Driving a Miata with bucket seats is like next level. It's like one of the first things you should do aside from like coilovers for like handling. It's just, you truly do feel like you're in a go-kart when sitting in bucket seats like this, especially in a Miata. But moving on from there, we have a 330 flat face Nardi Torino steering wheel with the silver chrome spokes to really go with the whole aesthetic. And then we have a P2M quick release and a WorkSpell hub. And I really only did the quick release to just push the steering wheel closer to me because I love driving with the wheel closer to me. I just feel like I have more control. And then moving on from there, we have P2M checkered board floor mats, same brand as the quick release. Super cool brand. They make like car accessories and stuff. Then we have a Amazon fire extinguisher that was like $20. Yes, it works, but it's more for aesthetics. And then a like quick release bracket or whatever that I just bolted to the floorboard. And I mean, it's been there for like 2 years. I never had to use it, thankfully, but it looks cool. And that's kind of mainly why I put it there. And then moving on from there, we have a Sony double din head unit. I don't know the name of it. It was like 300 bucks and Best Buy installed it for me for free because I bought it through them. But you know, it works amazingly. It doesn't play movies or anything, which I wish it did, but you know, it works. And then we have a Garage Thrash Racing heavyweight shift knob, which is super sick because it's heavy. So like you can throw the thing into gear and stuff. And I also never mentioned, this is a 5-speed, not a 6-speed. Probably should have mentioned that a long time ago, but this is a 5-speed, which is the better speed, I think. I don't know. You know, it's fine other than like driving on the freeway at like 8,000 RPM because you only have 5 gears. But you know, it is manual, it's not automatic. I probably should have mentioned that earlier. I really do want to point out this little cubby that I replaced. I probably shouldn't point this out. These cars, like I guess the US models mainly, come with the airbag system here, and the Unos Roadsters from Japan, the ones that came factory turboed, I think. I could be completely wrong on all this, but anyways, they do come with like this little cubby from factory, and I thought it would be really cool to just implement that on my car. So I was never able to find one, so I was able to 3D print one, and that's what this is. So no airbags in this car, but you know, I love it. I figured I have no airbag here, so might as well just remove the whole safety system from the car. I think it's super useful. I usually have like mints and stuff in it. I already told you guys about the roll bar. I actually did forget to mention it, but this is a Ace Dog roll bar by Hard Dog, and it was originally black, and I wanted to paint match it to the car because I'd really never seen somebody else do that, especially on a Miata. Everybody has roll bars, black roll bars for that matter, but I wanted it to be paint matched, especially with the flake. So we did end up doing that, which was atrociously painful. I wouldn't wish that upon anybody, but shout out to Rebecca, my girlfriend, for helping me put it in, making sure it fit, ripping it out, getting it painted, putting it back in. Truly, compared to everything else in this car, because Miatas are pretty easy to work on, that was very just annoying, but we did it. As you can see, it turned out amazing. And honestly, like, I just couldn't be happier. Having flake on your roll bar by itself, I think, is phenomenal and awesome. So that's the roll bar, and I think that really makes the interior. Without that, I feel like the interior would be really boring. So I really couldn't be happier with it. And then we do have a Broadway clip-on little mirror here that has blue tint because the headlights at night are atrocious. So this is just kind of a little accessory thing, but the blue tint really does help at night. And then the roof liner on this hardtop, I did sticker bomb with all the homie brands and some other brands that I have like on the car. Really just any sticker I had that I thought would look cool, I just threw it up here. So it's one of those things, like, unless you really look, you can't tell, which I love. The hardtop is mounted up by these hard mounted like theft proof latches because the OEM latches would get loose for me. So I figured I'd do something like this where the top does not move. It's literally bolted to the car, which has worked out beautifully. And then I did remove the little sun visors because they're so tiny on these cars that I like never use them. So I just fill them with these little plastic caps. But that is pretty much it for the interior of this car. I did just replace these door handles with chrome ones, which I think is super cool. I didn't even know they made OEM chrome ones. Along with the door sills, those are also chrome. All right, so then the glove box, I do want to show you guys this little Moon Eyes thing that I keep my paperwork in. I'm a huge Moon Eyes nerd, so anything Moon Eyes related I think is super sick. And then I just carry this little OBD2 Bluetooth scanner and my front plate for, you know, the bare necessities. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this interior. Like I said, I absolutely love the way it came out and I couldn't be happier. I would like to like upgrade the seats to like better seats eventually, but for now, you know, this works. Absolutely love it, and it just complements the car, I think, beautifully. All right, team, so that is gonna wrap it up for the video right here. Thank you so much for sticking around and watching the whole thing if you are watching this now, I guess. But I hope this answered a lot of y'all's questions. I do get a ton of questions on Instagram, mainly because that is really where I spend most of my time on this whole car thing. But you know, I could not be happier with this car. When I bought this car a little over 2 years ago, it was stock, salvage title, crashed twice. And you know, it's been an absolutely amazing car. The whole journey has been a lot of fun, I will say. And to be like the first car vision that I've completed, I honestly could not be happier with how it came out. And honestly, like, I'm just super excited for what's to come content-wise, and you know, just hanging with friends, and just, this car is a blast. The way I have it set up, the fact that I'm able to drive it all over San Diego and really have no issues with it, I just could not be happier. And more than anything, to be able to look back on this video specifically in a couple of years, show my friends, family, and even my kids, hopefully one day, I think that'll just be super special. So more than anything, that's what I was looking forward to making this video. But without further ado, that's been it. It's been Ricky. Thank you so much once again for watching, and I will catch you guys very soon. Peace. All right, now I want to yap a little bit about this car. Not that I've already done enough of that, but I really wanted to make this video mainly for like the reason of like documenting this car. Like when I bought this car 2.5 years ago, like this is what I envisioned. This exact, like how you see it, lowered on these wheels, the colors, everything, exactly. This is how I pictured it in my head. And I just think it's so ironic and funny that I just didn't like Miatas at all. Truthfully, it was for my friend Sebastian Santos. Without him, I wouldn't have even considered buying a Miata, but I did, and it was a complete impulse purchase, which it shouldn't have been, but that's just the type of person that I am. I literally woke up, found this car on Facebook Marketplace, and bought it that same night, which I've had amazing luck with this car. It's been amazing. I literally have zero complaints. So in that aspect, I've gotten very lucky, but this car has just taught me so much. Clearly don't judge a book by its cover, because that's clearly what I did. And it was mainly for the stereotype that these cars have in the community. But after owning this car for a little over 2 years, these cars almost have zero flaws if you really think about it. Like obviously there's no car that's perfect. These cars are just so raw, and like they have so much life in them for how simple they are, if that makes any sense. It's really hard to put into words. Like you really have to own one of these cars to understand it. I just really wanted to reiterate that, because coming from somebody who did not like these cars whatsoever, this is my world. Like this is my world right here. Like as you can see, I had to bring this up and talk about it, because these cars are such amazing cars, and I truly think they're only going to go up in value, which they should, because with all these new cars nowadays, something as raw as this just doesn't exist anymore. So even though they made millions of these cars, I still think these cars will only go up in value and only become more special as time goes on, which they already are. But I have the privilege of working at a very high-end dealership where I get to drive all sorts of cars, and I've had the opportunity to drive, for example, a 2024 Porsche 911. It wasn't the highest spec, it was like an S, I forgot what it was. But regardless, those cars are regarded as the pinnacle of automotive engineering at this moment in time. And I think it's super interesting to compare something like this to that, which obviously they're nothing alike, but in the sense of like raw driving pleasure and like what the car brings, I think they are kind of similar and kind of comparable, which they're probably not. But I'm talking from somebody who's like super car nerd related. I think they do have their similarities. And like moral of the story is, yeah, those cars are amazing. All these like super expensive millions of dollar cars, but like I feel like at the end of the day, like they're very similar in the sense of like you don't need a $300,000 car, a $2 million Koenigsegg, etc., etc. Like you can get almost the same amount of like driving pleasure out of something like this than one of those $4, $5, $6 million supercars, hypercars, whatever. I don't know if that made any sense. It was just a rant I really wanted to talk about, and just because I think it's something that not a lot of people talk about. And even like how you see this car right now, slammed and cambered and stuff, obviously that's not ideal to most people, but that's what I love. Like this is so, like I daily drive this car every day. I've done almost 40,000 miles, how you see it, and it's just been amazing. Like it's been like any other car, which I love, and I'm very proud that I've been able to set it up how I've wanted and been able to really enjoy it as a Miata should be enjoyed. So with all that being said, I hope that made sense, and I hope you guys enjoyed this review, because like I said, this car is my world, and I'm super happy and grateful that I'm able to share it now on the internet. But with all that being said, thank you guys for listening to me, and yeah.